New to tennis? These are the 5 things you must master. Hi everyone, Ben from PH Tennis here, and this is for all of you who've never played tennis before, you're just getting started, or if there's some major problems that you can't quite figure out. Lots of tennis players will benefit from watching this video, no matter how long you've been playing, because, and I say this to the players I teach all the time, it doesn't matter if you are brand new or world number 1, some things you have to do every single shot. And I can speak from my own personal experience here as well, as you get a little bit stronger, sometimes those basic fundamentals can kind of get overlooked, maybe a little bit forgotten, a little bit sloppy. So if you are brand new, start with these things and you're never going to go wrong. If you've been playing a little bit, have a little check, make sure you're doing all of these, and we'll be winning more points in no time. Straight out of the gate, we need to make a little clarification. Tennis is split into 2 halves. You have when the ball is coming towards you and when the ball is traveling away. Towards we call receiving skills, away we call sending. Now, everyone, and I mean everyone, gets obsessed with the sending skills, which is great. You do need to be able to have a nice shot. You need technique, needs to get the ball over the net. You want to look good and play well, I understand. However, you can't ignore the other half. Your ability to read a ball, move, get stopped, make sure you're in the right position. All of those skills are arguably more important because they happen first. Every time that ball comes over the net, you must be in the right position. You need to be stopped. Otherwise, all that beautiful technique you've got is completely worthless. So, how do you know which one you need to do? Very, very simply, if you keep making the same mistake over and over again, maybe your shot is always going in the net or your backhands are always too high, that is a sending problem. If your mistake is all over the place, sometimes they're high, low, fast, slow, too short, too deep, too much spin, not enough spin, that is almost certainly a receiving problem. So before you go diving in to even more detail on the perfect forehand for you, just make sure that you are actually making the correct type of mistakes. So let's say, for the sake of argument, your problem is the receiving skills. You're always in the wrong place, you're not quite sure what's going on. Well, the first thing to check is where are you moving? One of the most fundamental issues in tennis, and I think this is because of the way other sports are taught and played, is we all run at the ball just a little bit too much. If you play football, cricket, rugby, basketball, it is go to the ball, go to the ball, go to the ball. As soon as you play tennis, you end up running at it, the ball bounces, and you're standing right there. It's almost like a grenade going off right in your face. What you want to do is move away from the bounce. The further back you stand, the more time you have. Giving the ball space to bounce, it's going to rise, it's going to peak, and it's going to fall. It's going to make the tennis so much more chill, so much more relaxed, and then enable you to play nicer shots on the end. Further back is better than being too close, and certainly be really conscious that you're not running at the ball. Instead, we are making a prediction about where the ball is going to be. That's where you want to get to. And what you're going to do when you get there is coming up now. Okay, ball's coming over the net. You've predicted where it's going to go. You're running over to that position. You need to stop at some point. Move, stop, play. We drill into our players, and this is what I was referring to earlier. Doesn't matter if your name is Novak, Carlos, or Yannick, or you've never played tennis before. You have to get from where you are to where you need to be. You need to stop when you get there, and we stop when our racket is in line with the ball. In your head, you're trying to create an imaginary picture. You can, if you've seen tennis on TV, imagine that Hawkeye line that they show, the ball's path. We are trying to intersect that line with our racket. As soon as your racket is on that line, you're done. You don't need to take any more steps, you don't need to move anywhere else, because we know that if your racket is there, the ball will arrive. That is when you stop, and it's at that point you can start thinking about what shot you're going to play. Until that point, nothing else really matters. You can almost treat it like a flow diagram. Fly. That would be cool, wouldn't it? If I can Karate Kid, like catch it in the chopsticks.
Hey.
I don't have any chopsticks. Treat this almost like a flow chart in your head. Is my racket behind the ball? No. Then you need to move. Is my racket behind the ball? No. Keep moving. Is my racket behind the ball? No. Keep moving. Is my racket behind the ball? Yes. Now you can stop. And once you've stopped, we can move on to tip number 4.
Up, down. No look me, look fence.
We're in the right place. We've stopped. The racket's in line. What do we do now? Ultimately, whatever you feel like. This is really, really important. Do not listen to anyone who uses the word should or always. The one thing we know for sure is that once we've stopped and we're in line, the racket and the ball are going to meet. Then we know for sure that the only objective we have is to get the ball over the net and inside the lines. Everything else on top of that is a bonus. I am not saying that a few weeks, months, years down the line you won't be trying to do more than that, but fundamentally at its core, that is playing tennis. So you do not need to have a nice big long swing with loads of spin and loads of speed. The less your racket moves, the easier tennis will be. And there's two sides to this. One, it reduces the amount of skill you need so you can play easier, simpler shots. We often talk about sensations here at PH Tennis, so we're not trying to hit or rip or smack that ball over the net. That comes later. To start with, a push, a touch, a nudge, a shove, a guide, something a bit smaller, a bit slower, which requires less moving parts, is going to be far easier to coordinate, and most importantly, will keep the ball in the court. Now this helps you for two reasons. One, it's going to help you win, but secondly, the person down the other end is going to be able to get that ball back. Their shot comes over, your rally length will skyrocket. The longer the ball is in play, the more shots you play, the better you will get. If you want to accelerate your learning, we want to have lots and lots of long rallies. And if you're taking wild, great big cuts at the ball every single time, that will never happen. So once you get to the ball, once you're stopped, start easy, calm, sensible, just trying to get that ball over and in. It might not be perfect, but it's definitely correct. And that's the most important thing when we start. Finally, tip number 5 is more just a clarification and hopefully should give you a bit of leeway and a bit of freedom for you all. It doesn't matter what your shot looks like. It doesn't matter how you play it. You do not need to be perfect. There's nothing wrong with playing a shot above your head or by your toes or anything in between. Technique is individual. Every single person has it different. Even the world's best players hold the racket differently, swing it differently. It really doesn't matter. Do not worry, and this is the key here, is you are not trying to move in a certain way. You are trying to keep a tennis ball down the other side of the court more often than your opponent is doing it to you. Yes, as you get better, as you get stronger, we're going to have to start pushing the quality up a little bit. But like anything in life, we are trying to learn this in a progressive, sensible structure. And I assure you, overthinking and trying to move in someone else's way is never the right answer. The internet is awash with perfect technique videos. If you've never played tennis before, perfect technique is going to be very, very difficult. You need to find your technique, and that might be something that a tennis coach or someone else you play tennis with might say is wrong. If the ball is over the net and in the court, it's not wrong. It is your game. Do not worry. The same applies for serving. You can serve underarm if you want. You can tap the ball over if you want. We are not trying to tick any boxes. We are not trying to satisfy anyone. There's no judges giving you a score. The only thing that matters is over and in. So pressure off, move, stop, play, and just see what happens. There you have it. First things first, move to the right spot. And you do that usually by moving backwards. Then make sure you're stopped, then relax, pressure off. The less you move, the easier it is. The more you do, the better you'll get, and your game will develop naturally based on your height, your strength, your ambition, your emotional blueprint. So many people are going to be cautious and are going to love just getting the ball back and getting over the net loads of times. Other people might want to be a bit more creative and expressive, and that's fine. It's up to you. Just see how you develop as you play. I really hope that helps. Tennis is difficult. Bear that in mind. It's not an easy game. Arguably one of the hardest sports in the world to play. Give it time. If you'd like any more advice, get in touch with us, reply in the comments. You can also tell us how great we are. We do appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe and share and all that usual stuff so you never miss a thing from us at PH Tennis.